or visit centerforcosmeticdentistry.com.
Fox News is next, presented by Capital Tire Service in downtown Cleveland.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. An 8-mile-long Russian convoy suspected to be heading for part of eastern Ukraine. This is the Ukrainian president presses for help from the international community.
President Zelensky spoke to South Korea's National Assembly and said that Mariupol is, quote, destroyed and tens of thousands are dead.
Fox's Griff Jenkins in Lviv.
It comes as Russia is intensifying its missile strikes, hitting the northeastern city of Kharkiv, the south city of Mykolaiv, and the strategically located city of Dnipro, which serves as a hub for Ukrainian forces.
And travelers could find fewer airline seats this summer as carriers add staff and cut flights, attempting to make the experience a smoother one for flyers. JetBlue, for instance, says it's hired more than 3,000 new crew members and will reduce flights up to 10% by May. America's listening to Fox News.
The Mix 1041 News Desk, brought to you by Logan Thompson Law, a tradition of legal and community service. That's Logan Thompson Law at LoganThompsonLaw.com. Mix 1041, good morning, everybody. Let's get a local and state news update from the Logan Thompson Law News Desk. I'm Steve Hardline reporting. It is 8:06. We're on Mix 1041. We're on MixTV.tv, and we're on TOG 1013 The Buzz. Alan Mency in the Cleveland Daily Banner reported on Sunday that there is now just one, going to be one competitive race in August in the Cleveland City elections, and that's going to be in the 1st District of the Cleveland City Council, where appointed incumbent Marcia McKenzie, widow of Charlie McKenzie, is going to now be opposed by Nolan Tippins, who filed his petition for candidacy on the final day to apply to put their paperwork in Thursday, last Thursday at noon. There are other races in August that we'll be talking about going forward. Cleveland State Community College, the 4 finalists for the presidency of Cleveland State have been announced by the State Board of Regents, and they are Kathy Cecil Sanchez, Vice President of Instruction and Interim Vice President of Student Success at Lone Star College in Houston. Tiffany E. Hunter, Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs at Clark State College in Springfield, Ohio. Barbara Pickle, Vice President for, let me back up, that's wrong, Barsha Pickle, my mistake. Barsha Pickle, Vice President for Academic Affairs at Cleveland State. And Ty A. Stone, President of Jefferson Community College in Watertown, New York. There will be forums, which will begin on April the 18th for the public to come and hear each candidate. There will also be visits. The forums will be streamed on the State Board of Regents website. And there is other news. We're going to leave that there, though. More news at mymix1041.com. But now it's time to continue our Mix Mornings debate series. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Again, you're listening to Mix 1041, TOG 1013 The Buzz, and we're on MixTV.tv. Now, this morning, it's our criminal court judge, District 10 debate between the sitting judge, Sandra Donaghy, the elected judge in 2014, and her challenger, Paul Rush. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
We certainly appreciate it. Let me give you the format. We're going to really keep the same format we've done for the previous 2 debates that we've had. There will be a 2-minute opening statement, a 2-minute closing statement, and then both candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to the questions. And so, by alphabetical order here in the beginning, we're going to begin with Judge Sandra Donaghy for a 2-minute opening statement, and then to Paul Rush. Judge, over to you.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, Cleveland and surrounding areas. I am Sandra Donaghy. I'm your criminal court judge. I have been serving in this capacity for the last 8 years. I have been an attorney for 38 years, and I've practiced on all sides of the courtroom. I've been in private practice for 8 years. I was a career prosecutor, and I served in the public defender's office for 1 year. During the course of my term as your judge, I've worked hard to hold offenders accountable, guard the rights of victims, and for those that really want to change and make a difference, give them alternatives. I'm perhaps most proud of the initiatives that I have brought to the district, and that is in the form of a criminal justice liaison. I worked hard in Nashville to get a professional appointed to go into the jail, figure out what people's needs are, and then that treatment component can be a part of their sentencing and they can be held accountable to it. I've also brought a new recovery court to our district, which is the Veterans Treatment Court. That uses a team concept for justice-involved veterans to actually help them and restore them to productive citizens. On a more personal level, my husband and I live here. We've lived in Cleveland for the last 25 years. I'm active at First United Methodist Church. I've held various leadership positions there. I sing in the choir. That's my sort of fun outlet. I have a dog. We walk every night in Tinsley Park, and I am excited to look forward to the next 8 years, hopefully returning to my position.
Thank you, Judge. And now the challenger, Paul Rush. Paul?
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having us on this program. Good morning, Cleveland, and anyone else who can hear within radio distance or can access the Facebook feed. My name is Paul Rush. I'm 43 years old. I can give you a little bit of background about myself. I was born and raised in Tennessee. I went to UTK, graduated there, went to law school at the College of William and Mary, graduated there in Williamsburg, Virginia, came back to practice law, and I started prosecuting cases in the 10th Judicial District in 2004. I was hired under Jerry Estes. I was a prosecutor under 3 district attorneys. I've been a trial lawyer on over 90 cases myself, and then I've sat second on some other cases, so I have a vast experience in the courtroom as a prosecutor. On top of that, I jumped over to the public defender's office about almost 7 years ago, and I started defending cases. When they say, if you've ever seen a TV show, people ask me what a public defender does. So I ask, have you ever seen a TV show when they say, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you? That's me. I'm the lawyer that's appointed for you at no charge or minimal charge. So I do my best to serve the 10th District in that capacity. I'm married to Tammy Crane. She's an attorney. She's a Tellico Plains native. Between us, we have 4 kids. One kid is a junior at UTK, Sydney. She's doing really well. Tate is a junior in McMinn High School. Seamus is a freshman in McMinn High School, and my daughter Sarah is a freshman at Walker Valley High School. I go to First Baptist Church in Athens, Tennessee.
All right, thank you both. All right, so let's begin. And Paul Rush, I'm gonna give you this first question, and again, 2 minutes to respond to the questions here today. First question, if you can explain, and this came from the audience, we did solicit questions. Can you explain your judicial philosophy? Now, the person who asked the question says in plain English, but I think we understand that. But Paul, we'll go to you first. Can you explain your judicial philosophy?
Yes, I would say my judicial philosophy is that I am an originalist. I do not believe from legislating from the bench. I believe that the law says what it says. I believe that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and that every other law is subordinate to it. So I believe in following the letter of the law as it's written if it's in line with the Constitution. I don't believe in adding things or taking away things from the law. That's just not our job as judges. As a judge, my job would be to follow the law as it's written. I do not believe, I've been asked before about this question, and one of the questions that people always want to know is, do I believe that the Constitution is a living, breathing document, or do I believe that it means what it says and it says what it means? I don't believe that it's a living, breathing document. I do believe that it means what it says what it means, and we have an amendment process to amend that Constitution or to amend any laws passed in Nashville, to be honest, or in the federal system. That's up to our legislature to do. I don't need 2 minutes to answer that question.
Yes, sir. All right, Judge Donaghy, same question. That is, if you can explain your judicial philosophy.
Sure. When I think of the philosophy of a judge, it is what are the foundations and principles that you rely on. So I agree with Mr. Rush that our laws come from the Constitution, from statutory law drafted by our legislature, and from case law precedent, which comes from the higher court. So a judge at this level never makes law, at least not intentionally. I think we have to look more at concepts of a judge has to look for truth and justice. And if you think of Lady Justice, you know, she's blindfolded, so it ought not to matter if someone is rich or poor, what color their skin, they all are to be treated fairly. And so a judge's job, and my philosophy, is to look at the facts and really try to learn what the case is about, and then apply the facts to the law and render a decision.
All right, and just for the audience again, if you're just joining us, it's our Mixed Mornings debate series. Thanks to Serenity Funeral Homes for sponsoring our judicial debates. Today, Criminal Court Judge District 10. The challenger is Paul Rush, and the incumbent is Judge Sandra Donaghy. Let's talk about influences in your life, and I'm going to ask, what are some of the major influences in your life, and maybe even some who have been major influences in your life. And I want to begin with you, Judge Donaghy, and then to Paul Rush. Judge, 2 minutes.
You know, that's an interesting question, and we often don't think about where we get our foundation and our values from. But as I was growing up, my parents both were extreme influences in my life. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. My family had a restaurant, and so I started when I was 10 years old waiting tables, washing dishes, and that really teaches you how to not only serve, but to get along with everybody that you interact with. My parents started, I think, from the time that I was 2, saying, what do you want to do after you graduate high school so that you don't have to do that business? They sort of felt trapped in it, in that my paternal grandfather had started the business years before, and you know, you don't have any weekends off, you don't have holidays off. It was a hard life for my family. And so my mother preached education. I always knew I was going to college. I didn't quite know what I was going to do when I was where it would end up. But so my family, my parents have been a great influence, and my background. Church has also been a strong influence in my life. I was raised in the church. I strongly believe in servanthood principles, and I think when you take public office, especially in the form of a judge, that you are there to not only seek truth and justice, but also serve those that are before you. Those are the main influences in my life.
All right, and now we'll go to the same question for Paul Rush. Paul?
Yes, well, I would say that my parents are, and that is a good question, and not one that I've heard before asked in this season. Major influences in my life would, of course, be my parents. to know my parents is to know that they were and had always been through my childhood Southern Baptists. I grew up climbing under the pews at the church and being at the church every time the door was open, whether it was for Wednesday night supper and prayer meetings or Bible drill or kids camp or my dad was a deacon in the church. He sang in the choir. So I was there all the time. So church was a big influence on my life. But more interestingly, I thought this was serendipitous that you would ask this question. I had a major influence in my life when I was growing up. A coach took a special interest in me, a wrestling coach took a special interest in me and all of his kids, but he taught me how to be not just a good competitor, but a good man. And if I grow up to live up to be half the man that he was, then I will consider myself well accomplished. But his name was Thomas Queen, and he actually grew up here in Cleveland, but he ended up teaching me at Briarcrest Christian School in Memphis. And so the first time I actually ever came to East Tennessee was on a wrestling trip with him, and we wrestled at Cleveland High School. And I didn't know anything about it then, but I fell in love with the area at that time. And the Bacon Fest that we just had recently here in Cleveland, he showed up at my booth. So I got to reunite with one of my major influences in my life.
Wow.
Just recently.
Well, thank you both for your responses. We're going to take our first break. We will be taking a few breaks during this broadcast, during the broadcast of this debate. You're listening to Mix 104.1. Also Talk 101.3 The Buzz, and you're watching MixTV.tv. Now remember, you can go back and watch the full debate later, and really all of our debates. As our goal is to bring forth the ideas and give our candidates a platform in which to talk about themselves and their ideas as we get close now. Early voting, of course, on Wednesday, begins Wednesday. So MixTV.tv, the way to catch up, especially if you're just joining us. We're going to come right back with more. And Bridget, I tell you what, it's going to check up the streets. What's happening?
Okay, this Don Ledford Cleveland Mixed Highway Patrol report is brought to you by Don Ledford in Cleveland. April is Chevy Truck Month at Don Ledford Chevrolet in Cleveland, where they say yes. Buyers of select new 21 and 22 Silverado light and heavy duty trucks or 21 and 22 Colorado trucks get $1,000 toward eligible accessories or a $500 rebate. That's at Don Ledford Cleveland on North Lee Highway. We have no reports of any accidents this morning. Drive safely out there as you make your way in. If you see a traffic problem, give us a call. The volunteer Ridipest Mix line is 614-6499. We'll check your Mermaid Mattress Weather Center forecast coming up.
This news brought to you by the Mark Shepard Agency of Shelter Insurance. Call 910-9393. 910-9393.
This half hour is sponsored. For those who deal with painful leg veins, Dr. Eston Winger wants you to know there is help.
Typically, most patients that come in have varying degrees of symptoms with their legs, and it could be that your legs feel heavy, your legs feel tired, your legs ache, your legs swell. And typically this is worsened as the day progresses as you're up on your legs. And most people think, oh, they're just for cosmetic reasons, but no, actually your legs can hurt by having varicose veins. The fact is that the veins are not going to go away on their own. The only way they're going to go away is by an intervention. And if they do bother you or you have questions about them, then I'd be more than happy to talk to you in consultation.
Schedule a consultation by phone 423-472-5423.
At some point in your life, you may be faced with a legal challenge, whether it be a personal injury, a business dispute, or family matter. Our goal is to overcome your legal obstacles and get your life back on track.
If you or a loved one have been injured or have legal issues confronting you and your family, talk with someone on our team. We will investigate your problem to determine the facts and the law. Working together, we can develop a plan to obtain the result you deserve.
My dad says our new Linux system saves energy.
Well, saving energy means saving money.
A lot of money?
Yep.
Time for a raise in my allowance.
Savings year after year.
A big raise.
Call today for perfect air you can feel in your home and savings you can feel in your wallet.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Call Dale's Heating and Air today.
Ocoee OBGYN is a local and trusted women's care center in Cleveland, Tennessee. They understand that everyone's health needs are unique. Therefore, Ocoee OBGYN will deliver care that accommodates you. From routine annual exams and screenings to delivering babies, Ocoee OBGYN does it all. To plan a visit or get an appointment, give them a call at 339-8881. That's 339-8881. Or check them out at ocoeeobgyn.com. Ocoee OBGYN.
Need a metal roof for your home or business? Come see us at Best Buy Metals, a leading manufacturer of metal roofing products. Looking for great service? Check. Want to choose from a wide variety of metal roofing products? Check. How about complimentary takeoffs and free estimates for commercial and residential projects? Check and check. From small orders to semi-loads, we've got you covered. Literally. Best Buy Metals, quality roofing that lasts a lifetime. Come see us today.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
In Cleveland, call 402-9137. 402-9137. You know, Bridget, I just got a reminder of this, and I should have mentioned it earlier. We lost Dr. Royce McBride, one of the great dentists in our community, and he was just a dear friend. Of course, my dad was a dentist, started about the same time Dr. McBride did, but we lost Royce over the weekend.
Yeah, so hated to hear that. Big supporter of the station, listened every morning, and definitely thoughts and prayers to his family this morning.
Oh, wonderful man, and yes, we are definitely praying for the family. Hey, thanks for the reminder. I just got a reminder on that. All right, we're going to pick up with our debate in just a moment, but first, let's go to our Mermaid Mattress Weather Center. Roger Pickett.
Thank you to the hundreds of customers that left 5-star reviews after their experience of buying from us at Mermaid Mattress.
All right, for today, we'll have cloudy skies, a slight chance of a rain shower, a high of 70, a low of 58 tonight with a 60% chance of rain showers overnight. And then for tomorrow, rain showers during the morning, cloudy during the afternoon, a high of 80 and a low of 64, cloudy during the day on Wednesday with a high of 81. Your current Vascular Institute temperature is 57 degrees.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Bradley Concrete and Lamcon Ready Mix, family-owned business serving Cleveland for over 40 years. Call them at 423-479-4541 or visit lamcon.us to find out more.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Our Mixed Mornings debate series brought to you by Serenity Funeral Homes. And welcome back to our candidates. And I'm going to begin with Paul Rush on this question. And, of course, the same question for both right here. Paul, how would you balance, if elected, being an independent judge but being an elected official?
That's a good question. The elected judge, as you know, as many people know, judges aren't always elected. In Tennessee, we do elect our judges on the trial court level and the general sessions level. Other states appoint them or have committees appoint them. So what we have is an election term of 8 years for our judges. And so that long term is supposed to, in theory, insulate the judge from influences. No matter what they intend to do, they've got an 8-year term. So I would say disclosure above all. If you think there's a conflict, then you have to disclose the conflict. That's one way that's one important thing that you need to remember to do, is to always be open and transparent and honest. As an independent judge, I would let everyone know my donations are public record, so anybody can see who contributed to my campaign. There are no secrets that I keep. And I think that disclosure, above all, will solve most problems. If someone had donated to your campaign, for example, and you would just say, this person donated to my campaign. Does anybody have any problem with me sitting on this case? If they did, they could raise an objection, and we could hear it that way. That's why there's 2 criminal court judges. If one of the judges had a conflict in a case, then it could go to the other judge.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And now, same question for Judge Donaghy. How, and I guess in this case, how do you, or how would you have reelected, balance being an independent judge and an elected official?
Well, as an elected official, you have to be out in the community so that you have exposure to the community, but so that you can learn the feelings and the preferences of the community. So being out throughout your term is important. However, you do have to insulate or isolate yourself from a variety of sources. For example, sometimes, a friend might come up and try to tell you about their case, and you have to stop them at that point. You can't go out to lunch with lawyers anymore, because if you develop a close relationship with the lawyers, then someone might think that you are giving favor to that person as a result of your outside relationship. So you really have to pull back and just be your own. I agree with Mr. Rush that, we are a small community and everybody goes to church with each other. We all know one another. You can't isolate yourself from just human interaction. And if there is litigation that causes you to learn about it outside, disclosure is required by the canons of ethics and by the rules that govern judges. And so it is a balance that you make between keeping yourself out of things, not looking into things, not knowing anything, so that you can decide the case only on the evidence that comes in the courtroom.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Judge. And now we're going to go back to Judge Donaghy with this question, and then to Paul Rush, again, a 2-minute response. And I want to go back in both of your legal careers and talk about cases. And is there a case, or maybe more than one case, that would stick out to you that has affected you the most? And so cases that you've either worked on as an attorney or as a judge. Judge Donaghy, I'll begin with you. Are there maybe 1 or 2 cases that really stick out to you that have really influenced you going forward?
Every case is important. Every case influences you. There are some cases that you take home and you think about them and ponder them. A case that I've shared recently, in fact it was in the debate in McMinn County, probably is one that stands out to me over the years. And in part it's because the relationship I formed with the mother of the victim continues to today, and who would have known that could occur. It was a murder case. It was the defendant had used methamphetamine for 18 days in a row. He stole a wildlife officer's car that had weapons in it. He, by accident, came to Vicki Lee's son's house, and he was out working on his car, and the man said to him, "Where are my children?" And the decedent, the boy, said, "There are no children here. This is my house." And he said, "Where are my children?" Took out the gun, shot him dead right there in his own yard, and then took off. And so I worked with Vicki during the entire prosecution of the case. She was there every single time. You can imagine the mother's feelings of loss. And then after the case was over and he was convicted, she started a victims group to help other people. And I saw more strength in that woman than I don't know that I could have mustered myself. And yet today, even though I tried that case in 1997, she is still my friend. And we had a bond that formed.
Thank you, Judge. Paul Rush, the same question for you. A case, or maybe more than one, one or two that's affected you the most?
Well, I've got 2 minutes, so I'm going to spend 1 minute talking about a case that I did as a prosecutor and one that I did as a defense lawyer. When I was a prosecutor, the one case that really stands out to me is it was a rape case involving a very young girl who unfortunately was impregnated. And so it was very emotional. I remember dealing with, so you've got the baby, you've got the victim, and then you've got the victim's mother. So we were dealing with 3 generations, you know, in this case. Bringing that case to a successful resolution was one of the things I was most proud of. As a prosecutor, and I still see them from time to time in our community, and it's a good thing to see how they're doing and see how they're progressing, how they're developing. The grandmother lets me know all the time how they're doing. As a defense lawyer, I can tell you that the case that stuck with me the most, we have a backlog in our grand jury, so sometimes it takes a while for cases to get presented. And that's one of the things that I intend to change. But this particular individual was charged in General Sessions Court and got sent to the grand jury after a preliminary hearing. Grand jury, for all intents and purposes, is kind of a purgatory, and it can stay there, and they can stay there without a lawyer for, in this case, it was 13 months. He was held for 13 months. The case was never presented. I filed a writ of habeas corpus to get him out of jail. ICE took him, Immigrations and Customs took him and deported him, and McMinn County was left with approximately a $25,000 bill for his stay there. And so I remember that case, having involvement in that case, and that's one I'm most proud of.
All right, and we are going to do one more question prior to the break here. And of course, if you're just joining us, it's our Mixed Mornings debate series. This morning, it's our criminal court judge 10th Judicial District race. And we're going to begin this question with Paul Rush and then Judge Donegan. Then we're going to take another break. Paul, how would you work to ensure equality for people of all backgrounds in your courtroom? And that'll be the same question for Judge Donegan. 2 minutes.
As a public defender, I see I believe what the Bible calls the least of these. They often don't have any money to get out of jail. They don't have any money to hire an attorney. So they are totally dependent on you, the attorney, to help them. I would work to ensure equality because, and by treating everybody the same. The law is what matters. The law must be followed, and the law must be followed regardless to social status, money status, race, gender. All those things should be considered equal. I don't believe I have any deep-seated prejudices against one party or another. I've been on both sides, so I can look at the prosecution side and see what they're trying to tell me. I can look at the defense side and see what they're trying to tell me. Then I can take all that information in and process it because I've done each one of those for a significant amount of time. So I would say that for me, equality has never been an issue. I treat everybody the same, whether when they're my client or when I was prosecuting them as a defendant. You, as Judge Donegan said, justice is supposed to be blind, and that's why there is a blindfold on Lady Justice. We need to hear but we don't need to prejudge, and we need to ensure quality.
All right, Judge Donaghy, same question, working to ensure equality for people of all backgrounds in your courtroom.
Gideon versus Wainwright established the public defender's office, which is to give everybody, irrespective of their ability to hire a lawyer or not, representation. Although Mr. Rush referred to the public defender as being free, nothing is free in this world. It is our taxpayer dollars that pay for that, and that's the way it should be, because people ought to have equal and competent representation. As the judge over the case, I think what is paramount is being fair and treating everybody with dignity and respect. Just because someone's rich, they shouldn't be able to buy their way out of any sort of punishments or restrictions. And just because someone is poor, they should not suffer by not having resources. And so our state has established the criminal justice indigency form. That's not the fund's proper name, but defendants can apply to have experts appointed in their cases, or special studies done, or intricate things, and it's paid for by that indigence fund so that they can have equal representation under the law. I feel strongly everyone should have the right to bring forth the facts so that the choices and decisions that are made with full information. I want to take my last 20 seconds to go back to the last issue that Mr. Rush indicated, that a backlog in the grand jury, and he wanted to do something about that. The problem with that is the criminal court judge does not have any jurisdiction or control of the grand jury. That's totally a district attorney's issue. The only time that we can consider it is if a motion is heard for bond, and that'd be a defense action.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a break right here and come back with more of our Mixed Mornings debate series. Today, our criminal court judge, District 10, and we are reminding everyone early voting starts on Wednesday, and so get out and vote. Thanks so much to Serenity Funeral Homes of this area, Cleveland, and the area for sponsoring our debate this morning. Back tomorrow morning with our Bradley County Road Superintendent debate. We'll have Road Superintendent Sandra Knight and the challenger and former Road Superintendent Tom Collins will join us tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and we'll come back. I tell you what, Bridget, let's get a check of the streets. What's happening?
Okay, this Don Ledford Cleveland Mixed Highway Patrol report is brought to you by Don Ledford in Cleveland. Buick buyers, it's time for Don Ledford Buick GMC's springtime sales event. This month, Buick and GMC are teaming up to offer the same great finance plans. You can get 0% APR financing for up to 36 months on any new 2022 Buick and most new 2022 GMCs. That's at Don Ledford Cleveland on North Lee Highway. We have no reports of any accidents this morning. Drive safely out there. If you see a traffic problem, give us a call. The volunteer Ridipest Mix line is 614-6499. This traffic report is brought to you by Drainright Guttering. Call them at 423-472-7018. Online at drainrightguttering.com. The go-to gutter guys. We'll check your Mermaid Mattress Weather Center forecast coming up.
Looking for the dealer who's
Abra Auto Body and Glass takes the hassle out of auto body repairs. We work with all major insurance carriers. Abra Auto Body and Glass has 5 locations to serve you better in Chattanooga, Hickson, and here in Cleveland on South Lee Highway. Call 478-2700 in Cleveland to schedule an appointment or check out all their services at abraauto.com.
I choose Direct Primary Care Associates because of the relationship that I've developed with my care team.
They take me directly back and start evaluating my needs.
I choose Direct Primary Care Associates because of its flexibility, and so should you.
DPCA. Practice made perfect.
Bender Realty is proud to have 3 agents who've been in real estate for over 40 years. The experts at Bender Realty don't just live here, they volunteer and contribute to the community in our area.
Our involvement in the community of who being able to reach out to, whether it's city planner, county planner, economic development committee, to help you bring new businesses into the Cleveland area. We're all involved and we're able to keep up with what's going on and what's coming into Cleveland.
If you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or rent, trust your friends at Bender Realty. 472-2173. Bender-Realty.com. Be home with Bender Realty. Wholesale Supply Group, you've heard the name for years. The experts trust them, and you should too. Whether you're building, remodeling, or just maintaining your home, Wholesale Supply Group has all the plumbing, electrical, and HVAC products you need to supply any project. With great brands like Delta, Kohler, Rinnai, Mansfield, Progress Lighting, Square D, GE, and Milwaukee, Wholesale Supply has everything you need. Check out the locations in Cleveland, Chattanooga, Athens, Dayton, Madisonville, Dalton, and Chatsworth. Online, wholesalesupply.us. And remember, Wholesale Supply is open to the public.
Cleveland Tire is ready to help your auto any way it can. We're one of the largest providers of Goodyear brand tires in the area. We sell all major brand tires. We have ASE certified mechanics on staff 6 days a week. We also have a commercial truck tire center that provides 24-hour roadside service and minor mechanical repairs on site. We have built our reputation on years of quality, affordable work and tires. We pride ourselves in customer satisfaction and great service. Cleveland Tire Center.
This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway, with great news. Interest rates are super low, and your old car is worth more than ever. So if you're wondering if you should be buying a new Kia, it's a no-brainer. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. If you've got $500 down and you make $2,000 a month, I'll do my best to get you approved. Come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where car buying is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
KiaofCleveland.com.
I'm Eric Gardner at Volunteer Rid-A-Pest, and we're a local termite and pest control company. And I feel it's very important to do business with local companies. I certainly do. We shop locally anytime we can. The reason is the profit dollars you spend with local companies stay right here and circulate within our community. If you spend dollars out of town with out-of-town companies, those dollars go out of town. It supports their schools and maintains their roads and bridges. So spend your dollars locally, it just makes sense.
Peyton Southeastern is hiring. If you are looking for a stable, long-term career, they have an immediate opportunity for full-time employment with advancement opportunities available. Potential to earn over $20 an hour. Apply now at jobs.kroger.com to work at Peyton Southeastern in Cleveland. That's jobs.kroger.com.
I am Cleveland Ford. I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland. I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
Abra Auto Body and Glass takes the hassle out of auto body repairs. We work with all major insurance carriers. Abra Auto Body and Glass has 5 locations to serve you better in Chattanooga, Hickson, and here in Cleveland on South Lee Highway. Call 478-2700 in Cleveland to schedule an appointment or check out all their services at abraauto.com.
Hi, I'm Andrew Morgan. I was born and raised in Bradley County. I've always sought to live, work, and serve in Bradley County, and I hope to continue doing that as your next General Sessions Civil and Juvenile Court Judge. I humbly ask for your vote as the conservative, honest, and fair candidate for Judge.
Paid for by the committee to elect Andrew B. Morgan, Ben Absher, Treasurer.
We're all picky about our produce, and whether you're a thumper, a sniffer, a squeezer, or just plain particular, we promise no one is more picky about produce than Food City. That's why we're introducing our Picky Promise. Whether it's from farms down the road or tropical produce from the ends of the earth, we guarantee it's fresh or we'll replace it. You see, we're picky about produce, so you don't have to be.
Current time 8:48, and your local time brought to you by your local community college, Cleveland State. Always puts our community first. ClevelandStateCC.edu. Inside the Mermaid Mattress Weather Center, Roger Piggott.
Now is the time to take advantage of 5 years interest-free financing when you purchase any Tempur-Pedic mattress set from this area's original Tempur-Pedic dealer, Mermaid Mattress.
All right, Anyway, for today, cloudy skies, a slight chance of a rain shower, a high of 70, a low of 58 this evening with a 60% chance of rain showers overnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, rain showers during the morning, cloudy during the afternoon, a high of 80 and a low of 64. And then on Wednesday, cloudy during the day with a high of 81. Your current Vascular Institute temperature is 57 degrees.
This Mix 104.1 weather forecast is sponsored by Life Care Center of Cleveland, celebrating more than 45 years of serving the needs of the aging community. Life Care Center of Cleveland.
Thank you, Kim. Back for a final segment now, 11 minutes before 9 a.m. It's our Mixed Mornings debate series presented by Serenity Funeral Homes of Cleveland and this area. I'm Steve Hardline, Mix 104.1, Talk 101.3 The Buzz, as well as MixTV.tv. If you're just joining us, you can go back, watch the full debate here, and then our other two debates that we have done so far. Early voting starts Wednesday. All right, we've got a couple of more questions here, and then there will be closing statements. But we had a couple of questions from the public that I want to. I'm gonna combine them a little bit here, actually, and so we'll do this because they're about the same thing, really. What I want to do, and I'm going to begin with Judge Donaghy on this. I want to talk about changes in the district since you have been a judge over the last 8 years, and then also changes or improvements that you would make in the criminal court system in this district. So, how has the district changed over the last 8 years, we'll say in this case, and then what other changes or improvements would you make? I'm combining a couple of questions there because they were very similar. Judge Donaghy, we'll let you respond first here.
So over the course of my practice, I've seen a lot of changes in the criminal justice system. As our population grows, new people are moving into the area, people are coming from other parts of the country, we've got more people, more cases, more crimes. If you think about work of law enforcement over the time period, I think the officers have become better trained and more professional in the work that they do. And I judge that not only by what I see and how they see them testify, but even by the size of the case file. When I first started, a case file was a little thin thing, and now they're big, thick files because they rely on forensic science and experts and DNA and things that just we didn't have before. COVID, as bad as it was for the court system, because we had orders that said you can't bring people into court, you can't have people come in, or when you do, they have to be socially distanced at a range of 6 feet. That sort of drug us kicking and screaming into the use of better technology. Now in all of the courtrooms across this 4-county district, we've got video conferencing capabilities, and that has really improved things. We're able to arraign people from in the jail, but even more importantly, we can hear cases from Monroe County when I'm sitting in Bradley County if that's required. And we don't have to have the security risks and just the money and manpower to do transportation, because we can put them on a video screen from the Monroe County Jail and have them heard in open court in Bradley County. So those are some of the things that I have seen. Changes that I would like to make would be, the 2 minutes is done.
I'll let you finish that thought quickly, and then maybe you could hit more on the closing statement if you'd like. That's totally up to you.
Sure. Changes I would like to make would be continued use of that video technology, a more efficient running of the docket, better scheduling so that we can actually continue to work into the backlog that's been created by COVID.
All right, Paul Rush, same question, changes that you've observed in the district, and then improvements that you'd like to make.
Okay, so one of the ways that I want to help, one of the things I've seen change in this district in the last 8 years was the decision not to honor report back dates from the General Sessions Court. So whereas we would hold the DA's office accountable for presenting their files in a timely manner, District Attorney General Steve Crump, and he sent out a letter saying we're not going to honor report back dates anymore, and this was done in consultation, he said, with Judge Donaghy. So what I would like to do is I would like to revisit that issue, and I would like to have report back dates honored. That will keep everybody honest and moving forward in the right direction. I do believe that there needs to be docket management, better docket management. There was a backlog before COVID. Don't let anyone tell you different. And so what I'd like to do is have more trials. I'd like to schedule more trials, and more trials. We've got to eat into this backlog or it will eat us alive. One of the things I've seen change is a shift toward when I hear Judge Donaghy talk, she says that she's got 3 things that she does. She holds offenders accountable, she protects the rights of victims, and she gets help to those who really want to change. I keep hearing that, but what I don't hear is any place in there for innocence. I don't hear anybody talking about protecting liberties or protecting innocent people or not guilty people whose proof does not rise to beyond a reasonable doubt. I think it's equally important to hold offenders accountable as it is to protect the rights of the innocent.
All right, thank you, sir. And now we're gonna switch it up a little bit. I am going to allow is a strong word. I would ask each of you to ask your opponent a question. And so we're going to begin this part of it, and this is our final question, with Paul Rush and then Judge Donaghy. So Paul Rush, and then we're going to have closing statements. Paul, I'm going to go to you if you have a question for Judge Donaghy, and then Judge Donaghy, a question for Paul Rush. Paul, over to you. 2 minutes.
Yes, if I had a question to ask the judge, I would ask Judge Donaghy, with all due respect, why it takes your court longer than it takes Andrew Freiberg's court to run on a typical day. Is it because you are slower or more deliberate, or you give your answer in your best light?
Well, first of all, I don't see how Judge Freiberg runs his court, so I have no basis in fact to judge that question. All I can answer is every single case that I hear, I know that's that person's day in court. And so if they have something that is important for them to say or some fact that is important for me to hear, I want to give them an avenue to express it. First of all, so that I can get all of the information before I need to make a decision on their guilt, their innocence, the sentence that should be imposed, any decision that I have to make, but also I want to make sure that I follow the law. You know, our laws are very strict in terms of what things have to be waived, what understandings have to be voiced. And I think the best way to do that is to follow the law exactly, give an answer to each of those inquiries, and if it takes time, it takes time. That cuts down on errors or having to retry things in the future.
Okay. All right, so we'll reverse the process here. Judge Donaghy, a question for Paul Rush.
I was trying to think what I might ask. I don't know, because I see him in court, but I'm thinking he speaks about wanting to be more efficient and to change things. And every time that I've served in any capacity, if I saw something that could be done better, I've, as part of the team, tried to bring it forward. So what would you do to make the system more efficient?
Okay, that's a good question, and I'd like to answer it. A couple things I'd like to do to make the system more efficient, again, is to honor report back dates, get those cases through the grand jury, get those cases through the criminal court. I would like to set cases, instead of having every 30 days, a case may be continued to every 30 days, move a case out every other month so that it gives all the lawyers time to deal with the case. Part of what we're seeing is we're overrun. Our lawyers, our public defenders, and our DAs are overrun with cases, and they can't get their docket prepared for the next court date. So we don't engage in meaningful discussion. So if we had more time to do that, but less court dates, I would set a status date out to give people enough time to do that communication, to do that back and forth that needs to go on between prosecutor and defense counsel, and then I would have fewer dates set before trial. I would also set more trials on the docket per day. In my view, there should not be, if we have a backlog, there should not be a darkened courtroom. A darkened courtroom during a court week means that that courtroom is not being used to try cases. And in my mind, we need to try more cases. The sooner we try more cases, the better and more efficient we can be. One of the things that a judge can do to speed up the grand jury docket situation is the judge, according to Burgeons, they cited saying that they can hold sua sponte bond hearings. So one example might be to be able to tell the DA's office, hey, if you're waiting on a lab report for this case, we understand, but next month, on your report back date, if you don't have an indictment next month, we'll give you a month, and then we're going to do a bond hearing. And we're not going to keep those people incarcerated without appointing them an attorney.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for coming and also for offering yourselves for public service. It's time now for closing statements this morning, and we're going to begin. We'll reverse what we did in opening statements. Paul Rush, you'll have 2 minutes, and then Judge Donaghy. Paul Rush, over to you. 2 minutes. Closing statement.
Yes. In close, I would just remind the voters, voting starts on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, and runs to April 28th, 2022. And then May 3rd is Election Day. It is important for the voters to remember a couple of things. Number one, this is an 8-year term. I do have the energy, I do have the passion, I do have the dedication, I do have the experience, and I do have the commitment to go forward with another 8 years serving the people of this district. I would like to serve on the bench because, quite frankly, I've been in every other part of the courtroom and I've fixed what I can fix, and I see problems in the judiciary. I do believe that we can do a better decision we can make better decisions on following the law. We can make better decisions on speeding up the docket. We can chip away or eliminate the backlog in that amount of time. So I'm asking you to give me a chance based on my experience and my energy level and my dedication to fix the problems that exist in criminal court. If you don't think there are any problems in criminal court, then you're absolutely wrong. I believe in pursuing excellence. I don't know that I'll be able to achieve excellence, but I believe in pursuing excellence, and that's what I'll do if elected.
Thank you, sir. Judge Donaghy, a closing statement.
I guess I just don't want to leave this without making the voters aware that when cases are in the grand jury, the criminal court judge does not have jurisdiction. And to honor a report back date, there's got to be process on which to arraign someone or tell them what they've been accused of. And if a case doesn't come out of the grand jury, there is no process to have them appear. So his system, because he's got no control over what the district attorney presents, would require that people come to court over and over again to see if their case has been presented, which would be an abuse of people's time. I sort of like his idea about spreading things out, and I do that all the time. But the lawyers have got to be prepared when they come to court. So they've got to work outside of court to get offers, discuss them with the clients, make counteroffers, review the law. They've got to be prepared. That's what moves a docket forward. I schedule 6 to 8 cases for a trial date, and sometimes they have to be continued, and that's just part of it. When I inherited my docket, there was a big backlog that I inherited. I worked hard to reduce that backlog by 9%, and then came COVID. Now we have another backlog that we need to deal with. In my 30 years of practicing only criminal law, this is the first time that I have an ability to really help somebody by using resources like mental health treatment, recovery courts, holding offenders accountable. So I want to continue this so that I can help people in the future. I'm not done. I'd ask for everyone's vote.
Thank you both very, very much for coming in this morning. We really appreciate it. Again, Criminal Court Judge District 10 as the challenger Paul Rush and Judge Sandra Donaghy. Early voting starts on Wednesday. We'll continue our Mixed Mornings debate series tomorrow morning, as we'll have the candidates for Bradley County Road Superintendent. Road Superintendent Sandra Knight being challenged by the former Road Superintendent Tom Collins. They'll be in tomorrow at around 8 o'clock. Again, if you missed any portion of this debate, go to mixtv.tv. You can watch the full debate. For all of us at Mix 1041, thank you for joining us. We will talk with you soon right here. Thank you.